The modern dating pool is filled with women who weren't raised to be partners. They were raised to be consumers, influencers, and independent to the point of being impossible to build anything with. No accountability, no femininity, no interest in supporting a man's vision. Just chaos on autopilot and an expectation that you'll finance their lifestyle while getting zero respect in return. Brother, peace isn't just the absence of conflict. It's the presence of control over your own life. And once you've tasted that level of freedom, you don't give it up easily. Reason number 2. Divorce destroys men's lives in ways society refuses to acknowledge. According to the CDC, men who go through divorce have a 37% higher mortality rate in the years following separation. Let that sink in for a minute. The stress of divorce literally shortens men's lifespans. Older men have seen it too many times. Good men destroyed in a family court system that's designed to reward rebellion and punish masculinity. He loses his house. He loses his pension. He loses his savings. He loses custody of his kids. And somehow, he's still on the hook for alimony and child support while she moves her new boyfriend into the house he's paying for. Tell me, why would any man with a functioning brain volunteer for a legal system that's catastrophically biased against him? The juice isn't worth the squeeze when the entire game is rigged before you even start playing. Reason number 3. Intimacy becomes a battleground that makes relationships not worth the effort. Here's the truth that makes people uncomfortable. A lot of men lose their desire for relationships, not because they don't want intimacy, but because modern women make it almost impossible to maintain any passion. When you're dating, she promises connection, affection, and passion. But over time, after she's got the ring, the house, the security, and the lifestyle, too many women clock out of intimacy completely. It turns into go ahead, get it over with. Like you're a chore she has to complete. Like checking off a grocery list. Men don't want duty sex. We want a woman who's engaged, who makes us feel desired, who brings passion, and not just obligatory presence. But once she's secured the bag, intimacy becomes a weapon she uses to control you rather than a connection she maintains with you. That's why the same man who feels dead in his marriage suddenly comes alive when he's actually desired by someone new. It's not that he's a bad guy. It's that he's been starved for basic affection and respect in his own home. Dysfunction in the bedroom leads to dysfunction everywhere else. That's why so many older men say it's better to be single than to fight for passion in a place where it should have been automatic. Reason number 4. A man's value finally catches up with his age, and he's not desperate anymore. Here's the part women really can't stand. Women's peak value is typically in their mid-20s based on fertility, youth, and options. But men's peak value hits around 45 to 50 when we've built our careers, accumulated wealth, developed wisdom, and earned respect. All those years you spent grinding while women your age were chasing the top 5% of men who wouldn't commit. That grinding paid off. You're no longer the overlooked guy hoping for attention. You're now the established man with options, resources, and the wisdom to be selective. Older men aren't desperate anymore. We're discerning. We don't chase validation. We don't accept disrespect. We value our image and legacy, and unfortunately, a lot of modern women can't stand next to a high-value man without staining his reputation. We demand higher standards now. Not because we're picky, but because we're high risk. If a relationship goes wrong at this age, the damage carries over decades. So the woman who wants access to a successful older man's life needs to bring more than looks and attitude. She needs to be supportive, submissive, cooperative, reliable, and actually add value to his life instead of draining it. Reason number 5. The financial risk is absolutely catastrophic. Let's talk numbers because this is where it gets really brutal. The average cost of a wedding is $30,000 to $50,000. If you get married and she decides she's unhappy, you're looking at divorce costs averaging $15,000 to $20,000. Then comes alimony, which in many states can be permanent if you were married over 10 years. Then comes child support if you have kids. Then comes losing half your assets, half your retirement accounts, and potentially your home. A man who gets divorced at 50 after a 15-year marriage can easily lose $500,000 to $1 million in total costs when you factor in all the financial destruction. That's money you'll never recover at that age. That's your retirement destroyed. That's your legacy gone. That's your peace of mind shattered. And brother, the kicker is this: 60% of divorces after age 40 are initiated by women. So you can do everything right, be a good husband, provide everything she asks for, and she can still blow up your life on a whim because she's not happy or needs to find herself. Why would you sign up for that level of financial Russian roulette? Reason number 6. Modern women aren't raised to be wives. This is going to upset people, but it needs to be said. The current generation of women was raised by feminism to prioritize independence over partnership, careers over families, and self-fulfillment over sacrifice. There's nothing wrong with women having careers and independence, but you can't build a life partnership with someone who views cooperation as weakness, submission as oppression, and your masculine leadership as toxic. These women want all the benefits of traditional masculinity from you. They want you to lead, provide, protect, and pay for everything, but they refuse to bring any traditional femininity to the table. No support for your vision, no respect for your decisions, no accountability when they're wrong, no effort to make your life easier or better. They want a 1950s provider with a 2025, respect my independence mindset. That's not a partnership, brother. That's a hostile takeover. Reason number 7. False accusations and Me Too culture have made dating genuinely dangerous for men. Here's something nobody wants to discuss openly. Any woman you date now has the nuclear option to destroy your entire life with a single accusation. No proof required, no investigation needed. Just an allegation, and your career is over. Your reputation is destroyed, and your life is ruined before you even get a chance to defend yourself. According to research from the National Registry of Exonerations, between 2 and 10% of sexual assault allegations are proven false, but experts believe the actual number is much higher because most cases never reach a point where false allegations can be definitively proven. That might sound like a small percentage, but if you're the man on the receiving end of a false accusation, that percentage doesn't matter. Your life is still destroyed. Men are waking up to the reality that every interaction with a woman comes with catastrophic risk and zero reward. Why play a game where the rules change daily and you can lose everything for something you didn't even do? Reason number 8. You've finally built a life you actually enjoy, and you're not willing to sacrifice it. This is the most important reason. After 40, most men who've done the work have built lives they're genuinely proud of and content with. You've got your routines down. You know how to cook meals you enjoy. Your home is organized the way you want it. Your money goes where you decide it goes. Your weekends are spent doing things you actually want to do. You're not walking on eggshells. You're not being criticized for every minor decision. You're not negotiating for permission to see your friends or pursue your hobbies. You've got peace. And brother, peace is priceless. Why would you trade that hard-earned peace for the chaos that comes with most modern relationships? For the privilege of being someone's ATM? For the honor of being criticized daily? For the joy of watching your bank account drain while your stress levels skyrocket? It doesn't make sense anymore, and you know it. So here's what you need to do if you're a man over 40 trying to figure out your path forward. Step 1. Stop listening to society's programming about what you're supposed to want. You don't need a relationship to be complete. You don't need a woman to validate your worth. You don't need to follow the script that was written by people who don't have your best interests at heart. If you're happy single, stay single. Ignore the people who tell you you're missing out or that you need to settle down. They're projecting their own unhappiness onto you. Step 2. If you do decide to date, demand reciprocal effort from day one. No more tolerating one-sided relationships where you do all the pursuing, planning, paying, and emotional labor while she just shows up and expects to be entertained. If she's not matching your energy, cut her loose immediately. Don't waste months or years hoping she'll eventually step up. She won't. Step 3. Protect your assets with ruthless intensity. Never get married without a prenup. Never move a woman into your home unless you're prepared to potentially lose that home. Never merge finances until you're absolutely certain she brings financial responsibility to the table. Never, ever put a woman's name on anything you paid for. Keep separate bank accounts. Keep your investments in your name only. Make sure you have an exit plan if things go south. Step 4. Stay in your masculine frame and never apologize for having standards. You're allowed to want a feminine woman. You're allowed to want someone who supports your vision. You're allowed to want peace, cooperation, and respect. Don't let anyone shame you for having standards or tell you your expectations are too high. Your standards exist to protect your peace and your future. Step 5. Build your brotherhood and support other men who are walking this path. Connect with other men who understand what you're going through. Share knowledge, share experiences, and support each other when society tries to shame you for choosing yourself. Too many men are suffering in silence because they think they're alone in seeing how broken modern relationships have become. They need to hear from men like you who found peace outside the system. Listen, I'm not telling you to become bitter toward women. I'm telling you to become wise about the landscape you're operating in. Some women out there are still worth partnering with. Some women still understand what it means to be supportive, cooperative, and feminine. But they're rare, brother. Really rare. And in the meantime, while you're searching for that unicorn or deciding you'd rather just enjoy your peace, don't let society pressure you into situations that could destroy everything you've built. The modern dating market is rigged against men. The legal system is rigged against men. The The social climate is rigged against men. You're not crazy for seeing it. You're not weak for walking away from it. You're smart. To every man over 40 who's been questioning whether he should keep trying to date or just focus on himself, you have permission to choose yourself. You have permission to say no to chaos and yes to peace. You have permission to build a life on your terms without a woman in it, if that's what protects your sanity and your future. Society will call you selfish. Let them. You've spent decades being what everyone else needed you to be. It's time to be who you actually are. Share this message with a brother who needs to hear it. Too many good men are destroying themselves, trying to make relationships work with women who have no interest in being partners. They need to know they're not alone. They're not broken, and walking away is sometimes the strongest move they can make. Welcome to the brotherhood of men who chose peace over chaos. We're out here living our best lives, protecting what we've built, and refusing to apologize for having standards. Your peace is worth protecting. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Here's the hard truth nobody wants to say out loud. 52% of American men between ages 40 and 65 are now choosing to stay single by choice, not circumstance. That's not a coincidence. That's not a trend. That's men waking up. Let me be clear about something right up front. This isn't about men being weak or giving up. This is about men getting wise, protecting their peace, and finally understanding what modern relationships actually cost when the system is rigged against you from day one. Brother, if you're a man over 40 wondering why dating feels like more trouble than it's worth, if you're questioning whether you should even bother anymore, if you're tired of people telling you something's wrong with you for choosing peace over chaos, you need to understand what's really happening here. I know you felt this. The constant pressure from society telling you that you need to be in a relationship. Your married friends looking at you with pity, as if your peaceful single life is somehow sad. Family members trying to set you up with their divorced co-workers who spent the last 15 years taking their ex-husband for granted. Everyone acts like something's wrong with you for being alone, as if being in a toxic relationship that drains your bank account, your energy, and your sanity is somehow better than the peace you've built for yourself. Fellas, what I'm about to share with you isn't comfortable. It's going to make people angry. But these are the 8 real reasons men over 40 are walking away from the dating market, and why you should seriously consider doing the same. Reason number 1. Men are finally realizing their peace is more valuable than anyone's presence. A man with structure doesn't invite chaos into a house that's already quiet, clean, and under control just because he's lonely. He protects his peace like it's gold, because it is gold. You've worked 20, 30, 40 years to build a life where you control your environment, your schedule, your finances, and your stress levels. Why would you voluntarily destroy that foundation by bringing in someone who's going to criticize everything you do, question every decision you make, and turn your sanctuary into a battlefield?